3, 2, 1. We are back. This is episode 3 of the Legalize Stalling podcast. I am Jake Tucker here with Skylar Crespo, and it is just a crazy time right now to be involved with college wrestling and following it. I mean, this is just unprecedented stuff with the portal and NIL and everything. So, what do you think?
Yeah, dude, I think the biggest thing that stands out is like this Penn State Oklahoma State rivalry feels like a Star Wars movie. Like they're just stealing guys from each other, trading back and forth. I think the craziest twist of the saga has happened with they're saying Gilman's going back to Penn State after only a year at Okie State, where I mean they're obviously successful. I feel like Spratley obviously jumped levels with Gilman being there, so I don't know. It's kind of odd timing. It seems like they had a good thing going there, but hearing the rumors are like family, like he has family back home in PA or something like that. So I guess that makes sense why you would go back. But I got to think there's probably money involved there too, right? I mean,
I would imagine it's probably money. I mean, everything that's been going on seems to be financially driven. But when you mentioned that his family, I mean, we talked a little bit about this last night. When you said that his family, his wife and kids were still in state college, I mean, my first reaction was like, what? Like I couldn't believe it. I mean, it just seems like I've never really heard of that, like where, a coach goes halfway across the country and doesn't bring his family.
yeah, it's not like
I'm not judging or anything. I was just surprised,
yeah, same. And I'll say this too. I'm getting these off of Pat Minio's Facebook. So I mean, does Pat Minio know his family situation? Maybe not. Maybe you know what I mean. Nobody really truly knows, I guess. And Gilman's not a very public person, I would say. You know what I mean? He's not going out of his way to talk to the media. So,
right.
But yeah, like you said, it doesn't make much sense. But like you said, not judging. But it's a crazy twist to the saga. I mean, it's how do you think Spratley's going to feel wrestling against Lilladall next year?
Yeah. Yeah, you got to think like, wow, this, Lilladall probably knows everything about my game now. That
Exactly.
Gilman is back. And, I saw people saying like, oh, well, Spratley, he had a good year, but if Gilman's gone, then, but let's also not forget that, RBY's in that room. Dayton Fix is in that room. I mean, he's not without good mentors and things like that. But it's definitely a blow.
Yeah, I mean, at least if he loses Thomas Gilman, it sounds like he's getting Richie Figs. At least he's getting something out of the deal. You know what I mean? With all this, I mean, we'll get into it more of the portal stuff later. Yeah, Gilman to that's the first coaching change of the offseason, I believe, right?
The first one of that's noteworthy at least.
Yes.
Actually,
right.
Well, I guess I haven't heard about any other ones, but yeah, that's a big one.
Right.
And then, well, let's just jump in. I mean, this was probably an hour ago. Ferrari announced he will be transferring to the University of North Carolina. Me and Crespo here kind of listened to the interview, and it seems that he was very interested in the team culture there, and it seems like they're not big partiers down there in Chapel Hill. It's Chapel Hill, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And to kick off the interview, Ferrari jokingly, well, not jokingly. I mean, he seemed pretty serious. He was like, "I'm going to Penn State. I'm going to be a Nittany Lion, and I'm moving up to heavyweight." And like everyone just was like,
I mean, that was my reaction. I texted you right away, like probably some explicitives, but I texted another group chat and it was like Ferrari to Penn State. And then 10 seconds later, he announces his second commitment to Iowa. He said he's going to go wrestle with his brother. That's when I knew he was messing around. Yeah, at that point, it was just like, just get to the point, man. But it's all fun and games. It's funny, too. His brother did the same thing with the hat with Penn State. I got to think Penn State's kind of rubbed the wrong way by these guys at this point, right?
Yeah. I could see them looking at the Ferraris as just kind of like annoying bugs, like that. You're just like, oh my god, come on, It's just like, get out of
Yeah,
here.
yeah, definitely. But the funny thing is, I've seen rumors that they were talking to him in this portal period. That Penn State was looking at him. So you never know, I guess. But Ferrari to UNC, I feel like that's the first of this offseason, the first portal add to like a non-power team. You know what I mean? No disrespect to UNC, but they weren't the best team last year. But a lot of the other transfers are Iowa, the big three: Iowa, Penn State, Oklahoma State. Um, but yeah, it's kind of nice to see a smaller program, I guess, in some sense, get a blue chip guy.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, and they also North Carolina also just added Kyson Terrakina from Iowa State, who I think he's like a three-time qualifier,
Yeah,
and
solid guy.
yeah, so that's a good pickup for them. I've always kind of wondered, their head coach is Rob Cole.
Hmm.
He had success at Cornell, obviously, and now they got Tony Ramos is on the staff, and North Carolina is like a pretty good place.
Yes,
It seems
yes,
like a good spot to go to school.
yes.
You know,
And I didn't realize Chenzo was on staff as well.
really,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't know
because
that either.
Ferrari mentioned my Italian brother Chenzo is on staff, and then he brought up how like he was like Ramos is 1/15th Italian. Yeah, you know how he is with the Italian stuff, but
Yeah,
yeah.
1/15th. They
Say it
make
again.
1/15th.
He's something like that. Don't quote me. Don't quote me. I mean, you know how his interviews are. They're all over the place.
Yeah,
So hard to keep track sometimes.
yeah, um, yeah. I
He
guess.
also said that he does not know if he is going 197 or 285. He said he walks around 225, 230. He said last year 97 was a struggle, but he could do it again possibly. So it'll be
Where,
interesting to see where he ends up.
where does heavyweight? What does heavyweight look like next year? Gable and
Wide open, wide open.
Greg's gone too.
Greg's gone. Wyatt's gone. Gable's gone.
Colton Schultz is gone.
Heinzelman is gone.
Yeah, that's like five out of the eight All Americans, right? That are gone.
Yeah, I think
There's probably another one in there too.
I know we're probably missing one. You're right. Yeah, no, the Lehigh kid is done.
Oh,
Treffin?
yeah, and then Trumbull was in there too.
He's back though.
And then I mean, I know that they said he's making it back for next season, but Keeter's having hip surgery, so
Right.
assuming that he's healthy for next year, then Keeter's gonna be there too. So
Yeah.
um,
You got Gadiali returning too, former All American.
yep, for the Michigan Wolverines.
Yes, yes.
All right, let's talk Zach Ryder to Okie State.
Yeah. Last time we were on here, kind of seemed like at the time like Ryder was sticking around. This was right after the Rocco news had hit. Um, Personally, I feel for the kid. I respect his decision to leave. I mean, I get it. There's also the aspect of like stay and beat the guy, be the guy, whatever. But you got to feel some type of way. I mean, Ryder's done great things since being at Penn State. I know he hasn't been in the lineup, but it's not like he's underperforming. You know what I mean? And he made a world team. Was that 2 summers ago?
Ryder?
Yeah,
No, he made
beat Arnold.
this last. It was the last U23.
Okay, yeah.
U20 World. He was on the U20.
Yeah, right. And I don't think he's lost as a redshirt as well. I think he had an undefeated redshirt season. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think he won the scuffle, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right. Yes.
And yeah, I like you said, I respect the decision to leave, because yeah, you could go about it in that sense of like, oh, well, I'm gonna have to I got to beat a guy on my team if I want to be the best in the country anyway, and I get that, but like there's a lot of politics that go along with collegiate athletics,
Right.
like, yeah, all right, like say they do two wrestle offs and they split, and then they go to a tournament and they're both in the Black Knight invite in the same bracket, and Rocco does better, and then Ryder gets the start in a duel and he takes a loss, And then it's like now Rocco Welsh is like the guy, and it's Zack Ryder just kind of fall. You know, these things happen a lot.
Yeah, and they're two comparable guys. I don't think it's out of this world to say Zack Ryder beats Rocco Welsh.
Yeah.
But also on paper, one of them's made an NCAA final, the other hasn't. Like as blunt as that is, like you said, maybe there's a situation where they're 2-2, and it comes down to it, and they say, "Hey, Rocco's been at the tournament and done it. Sorry, like you haven't." There is a lot of politics in it, like you said. I find the most interesting thing about the portal is like it always carries on. So Rocco comes to Penn State, Ryder's upset, Ryder leaves. Now Braden Thompson at Oklahoma State is probably feeling pretty upset. Maybe he leaves, right? Maybe let's say he goes to Iowa. Iowa's 84 is gonna. I mean, he wouldn't go to Iowa, but you know what I'm saying. Like this chain of just getting recruited over is gonna keep happening over and over, probably for the whole summer, honestly.
Yeah.
Or as long as the portal window is open. I'm not sure how long it's open, but
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, obviously nobody, you know, there's always going to be somebody upset with the way this portal is going right now. And whether that leads to like transfers or, you know, or, you know, what have you, you know, it's crazy. Yeah. So Okie State, you know, like we talked about the last pod, you know, they're losing everyone from 57 to 285.
Mm-hmm.
Zack Ryder coming in is big. But I'm honestly kind of surprised that they haven't picked up, you know, maybe a heavyweight or a 97, you know, already.
Yeah, so I mean they have Serber at heavyweight coming back, who's I mean he's a solid guy. He would probably start off the season ranked top 15, I would guess off the top of my head.
Well,
Especially with
he was at 97, correct?
yeah, not Serber. What's his name? Let me look it up real quick. They have a decent heavyweight that they had before Doucette, Connor Doucette.
And they
I
have
think
Merrill too
yeah, but I think Merrill is shrinking down.
to 97 or 84.
I heard both are on the table.
Oh, all right.
I think they said that he certified at 84 last year. I don't think he ever made it, but he could have made it, type of thing.
Is he a Gilroy kid?
Yes, yes. I think he took a visit at Michigan State, did he not?
I don't remember him there. I remember Zepeda.
I know Cepeda did.
Yeah.
I want to say Merrill took one too, but yeah, Gilroy kid, super talented. I mean, thing is they lose those guys, but it's not like they don't have blue chip recruits coming in.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at their incoming recruits, and I've got to see, you know, a couple of these guys wrestle in person. I got to watch Lockett and Cody Routledge wrestle at the Iron Man, and they're ready. You know?
Yes.
And then that Landon Robideau, I'm not sure how you say his last name, from Minnesota.
Hammer.
A total stud.
Mm-hmm.
So he's probably ready also.
Yeah, and to segue into them needing a 97, this happened, I think, during the AJ Ferrari podcast. I saw it on Minio's Facebook page, but Rocky Elam is expected to enter the portal. I believe he's former All-American, 97, maybe multiple time. I actually think he was the 1 seed at NCAAs one year. Obviously super talented. Is he 4-time All-American? Sorry for the slander, Rocky Elam. No, kid's obviously a hammer. It would be a great get for, in my opinion, Oklahoma State or Iowa, right? Both of them need a 97. Both of them probably have the most money. To piggyback off of that, not calling out anybody in general, but all these recruits saying it's not for the money. Come on, guys. Like, I think it's funny too. A lot of the time, like it'll be a power school, one of the blue bloods of the sport, and they'll be like, "Oh, they actually were offering the least amount." Really, man? They got the most to give. Like, probably not.
I just think it's too early in this free agency of college wrestling for these guys to just openly be like, "Yeah, well, they offered me more money," you know. Like you saw it with Bo Bassett, like when he committed to Iowa, like you know, like he never mentioned anything about money, which I don't think he should have. You know, he's a high schooler, and you know, let's just keep that stuff private. So, but you know, you got like Ferrari talking about, oh, why'd you pick this spot? You know, and it's like, well, Everybody's thinking it.
And I also see the aspect of these coaches are probably going to the wrestlers saying, whatever you do not tell them how much money you're making, because it's a very quick problem. For, say example, you transfer into my school at wherever we are at Michigan State, and I hear Tucker's getting 100 grand, and I'm only getting 20 grand. It's going to be real quick for me to go to the coach and say, hey, what's going on here? So I get why it is secretive. Hopefully in the future it is more public, because it would be nice to just, you know what I mean? It's legal. It's not like we're cheating at this point. So hopefully it becomes more public. But like you said, I think it's just too early. Everything's too new.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That kind of brings me into the next name on our list that I think we should talk about. Dean Peterson hit the portal like last week. Now announced he's going to Iowa, and then yeah, there was a little bit of stuff going on with Minio. If you want to just touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, right away, like Minio, and I get most of my information from Pat Minio, especially now after seeing this. We'll get into it. He confirmed his sources, but he kind of was like, it's a foregone conclusion. He's going to Iowa as soon as he entered the portal. Took a little while, like you said. We kind of expected him to go to Iowa, but about a week later he commits. Controversy happens on Twitter when Minio starts dropping the numbers. He says he's getting $200K, full tuition, an apartment. Might have been a car in there. I don't remember exactly. You guys can look it up for yourself. But he says all this. About a day later, Dean Peterson gets on a Twitch stream, which he is a streamer. I guess he streams pretty regularly. I didn't know that. Somebody asked him about Minio. He said, and I quote, most of the things he says are talking out of his ass. So I think Minio was probably pretty upset about that, especially when he was not, in fact, talking out of his ass. Minio then, I guess it's not confirmed, but people think it's Minio's burner, started dropping the DMs between himself and Dean Peterson. Everything he was saying was lining up with the DMs. They all got deleted the next morning, but it was pretty fun to watch the back and forth on Twitter. But basically, I think he's telling the truth, man. Everything he says usually comes out to be true. I haven't seen him be wrong too many times. Nobody's perfect, but I like that type of media. I like how open he is about things, and
Yeah,
he doesn't beat around the bush.
Yeah, kind of like the insider information kind of side of it. Yeah, yeah, definitely. And it's funny, um, you know, Pat Minio, when you said the thing about how it's probably his burner. I mean, that would make the most sense, right? I mean, how else would this account get those screenshots of their DMs?
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, Minio was retweeting them. He was retweeting the burner accounts page. So it'd be kind of weird to expose your own burner like that, I feel like.
Yeah.
But I mean, you don't know how the guy operates, but yeah, it's interesting thing to me with Iowa is they got 3 guys, correct? They have Nasir, Jordan Williams, and now Dean Peterson. No disrespect to those guys, all great wrestlers, all definitely can All-American this upcoming year. Can probably all, I would say realistically, all of them could compete for a national title. I don't think that's crazy to say. But at the same time, none of them All-American this last NCAAs. So it's kind of, it'll be interesting to see if they jump levels, if they stay the same, they get worse. It's just always interesting, especially to see guys with like 1 year with Peterson. Like, is it going to work out? Is all that money going to be worth it? We'll see.
Yeah, because we've seen, in the past where, you got, really, really good guys who maybe never made it to the podium, kind of like Dean Peterson, taking their 5th year or whatever, their last year of eligibility and going to a blue chip program and it not panning out. And this isn't, that wouldn't be crazy, right? But yeah, I like Dean. I like the way Dean Peterson wrestles. I think he's tough, and
Yes.
I hope he gets it done. And same thing with Nasir and Jordan Williams. I just, yeah, it's just interesting this whole thing. Yeah,
I'll say this. I think I agree. I do like the way Dean Peterson wrestles. He also has a win over Lilladal, who is probably the odds-on favorite to win NCAAs next year. I don't know if those odds are out there, but that's who my pick would be. So obviously really, really talented. I think he fits Iowa style for sure. Like personality, just like you said, wrestling style. Like I think he'll fit in Iowa very well. I do think he'll do pretty well. They got a great lightweight room. You know what I mean? He's going to be working out with Ayala and Bailey and Spencer Lee and
Yeah,
trying to think who else they have.
let's not forget about the biggest name in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, there's plenty of partners to go around. It'll be interesting to see how it pans out because, I mean, look at this last year. You have polar opposites with Buchanan and Teamer. I mean, both of those guys on paper are NCAA title contenders. One of them goes and does it, right? To kind of takes a little jump up, and then you see Teamer. You know, I mean, injuries obviously played a part of it, but didn't end up placing. So it's always interesting to see if like, did you get your money's worth?
right. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, let's see. Well, I guess there are a few other names that are still in the portal that just haven't committed yet. So Lachlan McNeil is a big one, um, and oddly enough, leaving North Carolina, who just picked up one solid guy and AJ Ferrari, and then
No, two with Terrakina.
yeah. So like one, Terrakina solid, and then Ferrari is AJ Ferrari.
Yeah, and they had also lost Spencer Moore at 25, which feels like a net positive or like a net, you know what I mean, net even. Like him, Spencer Moore and Kyson Terrakina are similar levels of guys, you
Yeah,
know. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I'll it'll be interesting to see how long it takes them to have success as a team at UNC because obviously Rob Cole can build a program. I think on paper it's probably harder to build a program at Cornell than it is UNC. Being at an Ivy League school, I mean, there's a lot of restrictions there. You know, their scholarship models are different, and obviously you can't just get anybody. They got to be pretty smart to get in. All kinds of those factors, and I'm sure it took them a while to build up Cornell. I don't know the exact history of it, but it'll be interesting to see if maybe UNC rises up into perennial top 10 team.
yeah, that'd be interesting. Um, and then obviously Figueroa just announced. I know we touched on it earlier. I mean, what do you think? Do you think Oklahoma State?
Yeah, I mean that's the only one that makes sense. You got Zahid over there. I don't know if him and Zahid are close, but I'm sure they spent time together around the ASU program. Um, Great partners there for him too. Obviously, Spratley, Dayton Fix, Roman Bravo Young. Was going to be Gilman, but it sounds like no more Gilman. Um, that's another thing too. It'll be interesting to see if who they go replace him with if Gilman is leaving, because you got to think it's a lightweight guy, right?
Yeah. Do you think they hire someone who's already in Stillwater?
I mean, this would continue the trend of what's going on. Maybe they go steal somebody that's at Penn State, like Nick Lee, or give him a call or so. I don't know, somebody like
I
that.
don't think Nick Lee's leaving State College.
If you told me 2 days ago that Gilman was leaving Okie State, I'd tell you you're lying.
That's true. That's true.
There's a lot of things that you didn't think would happen that definitely are. I mean, that's just a theory. You're probably right. Nick Lee's probably not leaving, but
Oh yeah. Now that we're talking about Okie State, when we were talking about incoming freshmen, I forgot about Sergio Vega.
hammer, dude. He is so good.
Really good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a guy that's Bo Bassett level good.
Yeah. I saw him lose to Seth beat him at Ironman.
Mendoza.
Yeah, but it was a good match.
I mean, Seth Mendoza also beat Jax Forrest, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, hammer.
Seth is really good, but yeah, the Sergio Vega is obviously a great addition to that room as well. Um, yeah, so I don't know.
And it sounds like Figs to 33 as well with Spratley at 25.
Okay. Yeah. Figs to 33.
How do you think that plays out? I haven't seen him in person too often, but he doesn't seem like a huge 25 to me.
This is actually funny that you mentioned this. I just saw him in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
We were out, doing whatever. Me and my buddy, and actually the first night that we were there, we hung out with Kyson Terrakina, and then we go, 2 days later, I can't remember where we were hanging out, but we saw Richie Figueroa, and my buddy walks up to him. He's like, "Hey, what's up, bro?" Like dabs him up, and we kind of step away, and I go, "I didn't know you knew Richie Figs," and he goes, "Who?" And I was like, "Richie Figueroa," and he goes, "I thought that was Kyson."
That's funny.
But it actually turned out he was like, "I do kind of know Richie too, so I guess it's not that weird." And I was like, "All right." So
Fair enough.
yeah.
That's funny. But yeah, I mean, Okie State's they're gonna fill those holes with somebody. It's kind of just a matter of who's gonna jump in the portal, is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's gonna keep going. Like, I texted you this morning. I'm like, dude, should we wait to do this podcast? Because there's news dropping by the hour. It feels like.
Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, we kind of got lucky last week because Facundo transferred to Okie State minutes before we jumped on, so that just kind of worked out. Yeah. Do you want to touch on Ethan Miller real quick?
Yeah, sure. Really solid kid. 20-0 at one point, I believe. Was the 1 seed, headed into Big Tens. Kind of, I don't know. What did he place at Big Tens? Do you know? I know he didn't win it.
He ran into Cannon, who had a hell of a tournament. So
Right. So kind of a disappointing Big Tens compared to seed. Goes to NCAAs, does an All-American. But obviously a really good kid. You don't end up 20-0 in a Big Ten schedule on accident. My mind right away goes to Iowa. They need a 57.
Yeah.
He seems to be the best available right now. It's interesting to see, like, I was talking to a friend of mine about the Figueroa thing, because I believe Figueroa entered very soon after Dean Peterson committed to Iowa. And I'm just interested, like, do the coaches play the waiting game on some weights and say, hopefully a better 57 enters the portal? Or do you just, hey, this is what's available now, we got to go get someone?
Right. Yeah. Well, and I was also kind of curious, are Ethan Miller and the other Miller, are they brothers?
They're brothers? I don't know if they're twins, but they're definitely brothers.
Okay, so the other one might be older. He might be done.
I think he's got I don't know. I can look into it, but I was wondering the same thing. Like, it seems kind of odd for two brothers that were at the same school, probably drilling partners their whole life, back-to-back weights, obviously, that they wouldn't both want to go to the same school, or at least both leave, right?
Yeah. And, just to talk about Maryland real quick, the trajectory that they've been on has been really good in the last couple of years. Alex Clemson, the head coach, has obviously been doing something right over there. They've been getting good guys. They've been doing better every year. And this year, with Jackson Smith All-Americaning, is the first time in a little while that they've had an All-American. And
yeah,
that's going to be big for them. So I don't want to say I'm surprised that he's leaving because it's the NIL transfer portal era. But I think that's, that was a little surprising to me, I'd say.
Yeah, I just looked it up. Cal Miller does have another year. He's only wrestled 3 years. So It'll be interesting to see. Maybe he waits to see where his older brother's going and maybe follows, or maybe he's sticking and put. No, we don't have a connection to Maryland well enough to know the details there. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, is there any other programs that feel like they fit for the 57-pounder, Ethan Miller?
I can't really think off the top of my head. Maybe. What about North Carolina State? Because Ed Scott's done, right?
Correct. And they picked up Zach Redding also from Iowa State. I think former national qualifier. Kid's tough. He's got some good wins in his career. Kind of been stuck behind the Frost, Swiderski, Echemendia area at Iowa State. Heard he's going 33 at NC State. So it'll be interesting to see a guy that kind of doesn't always get his shot go get one last, go at the thing.
Yeah. Speaking of Iowa State, they picked up, what is it, Isaac Dean?
From Ryder, yes.
Yeah.
84-pounder, correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I want to say he was seeded 6th or 7th at NCAAs. Didn't end up All-Americaning, but obviously great year, especially coming out of Ryder, a smaller program. Smaller program that's been producing like crazy. Seems like they always find a way to get a guy on the podium. So hats off to them. Sucks that they're losing a guy that they developed, but Iowa State gets a good pickup. They're kind of like a quiet portal team. I feel like every year they're getting a solid add to their roster. Kind of a down year for them last year. Be interesting to see if they can bounce back. Obviously, they lost Redding, Chittum, Swiderski. So get one back. Good to see for them.
Yeah, especially Iowa State did lose. Um, they lost a couple big names, so I guess it's good that they're still able to get guys through the portal. Maybe not at the exact same weights, but um,
Yeah, I mean, realistically, NCAA points are NCAA points, regardless of what weight they're at, right? If you add a national champ or lose a national champ at 25 and replace with a national champ at 84, it's gonna even out. So
well, Chittum's leaving. Who do they have
yes,
at 57? Because that's another possible landing spot for Miller.
this is true. I had thought Pinheiro was gonna go up to 57,
Okay.
but because I'm thinking Echemendia is 49, and then probably Frost at 33, 41. But I mean, maybe Pinheiro stays down, and like you said, maybe they go get Ethan Miller. Um,
Yeah, no, I think the Pinheiro makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, and he started out this year at 57. He's won big. I think he beat Brandon Cannon this year at 57.
He did.
So it's not like he can't compete at 57. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, obviously, there's no shortage of portal talk.
Definitely not.
These
And there's probably some names that we haven't touched on. So if we didn't talk about your guy, sorry.
um, I guess to close it out, you just want to talk about Nolf.
Yeah, I'll let you get into it some more. But Nolf enters the U.S. Open. I think previously he had said he was done with wrestling, correct?
Yeah, I think. Let's see. Hold on. Yeah, I think he had basically gone on and said that he was done with wrestling, and was basically saying that he just wanted to do like the grappling stuff, and just announced that he will be competing in the U.S. Open. And I checked to make sure it wasn't an April Fool's joke, and it was 2 days after April 1st, so I think we're in the clear. But I could totally see him just competing for competing's sake and still just focusing on the grappling stuff. Maybe he's not going for a world team. It is the U.S. Open, like anybody can enter it. So
Yeah, and you see that happen. I think like Clay Guida wrestled in the U.S. Open a couple of years ago. I mean, I don't know his wrestling background, but he obviously wasn't really trying to make a world team spot. So maybe it is something like that. That's at 74 kilograms?
yeah, and the Clay Guida thing, I think Uriah Faber did it as well the same year. They both like entered.
Yeah, I think you're right. 74 is a loaded bracket too. It's got. Yeah, I mean, you have the list pulled up. Off the top of my head, David Carr is in it. I know that.
Here,
Quincy Monday is in it. Shout out my assistant wrestling coach at Arizona Christian, Jesse Hillhouse, is in the bracket.
Really?
He plans on shocking the world and winning the whole thing. We're behind him over here. Roll Storm.
um, you said 74?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, you got Jarrett Jacuse, who's good.
Yes.
Tyler Lillard from Indiana's in there. Joey Bianchi. Yeah, I got Hillhouse in here, your boy.
Yes, sir.
David Carr, Quincy Monday, Ed Scott, Cale Robb, Terrell Barraclaw, and then and now it looks like I guess Nolf will be thrown in there. I don't know if he beats Carr. I think he can. I think he can beat Carr. Obviously, it's Jason Nolf.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I think Carr's hot right now.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he just coming off of that win over Takatani, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a guy who we saw put it on Kyle Dake at the last Olympics. Like, he is clearly no slouch. It'll be interesting to see that 74 kilograms, I think, off the top of my head, might be my favorite 2028 Olympic, like, weight. It'll be interesting to see. I think it's going to be, we said this last time, I think, that we think it's going to be a new guy, not Dake. Tons of good talent there. Messenbrink, Carr, O'Toole, Hamidi. I mean, Dake.
Well, you got to think that. You got to think. Does Messenbrink enter?
I would think so. He seems like more of a freestyle guy than Folk, right?
Or wait, does it? Are they still doing that where if you're a national champ, you get the berth to the trials?
I think it's actually top 3 gets a berth to the trials.
Okay.
So yeah, that would make sense. Maybe that most of the college guys aren't entered
Yeah.
because now that I'm looking at these results, I don't see any top 3 guys from this last year's NCAAs. So that would make sense that you should already get the bid. Just wait it out.
Well, look at. Did you see 70 kilos?
Yeah, 70 kilos is going to be fun. Also, I lied. Jesse Mendez is in at 65. So there's a couple guys probably that place top 3. Let me look at 70 though. We got.
I got 70 right here. I can rattle through the big ones if you want.
Yep, go for it.
Bryce Andonian, Yanni Diakomahalis, Jackson Arrington. He was at North Carolina State. Caleb Larkin, Alec Pantaleo, Yaya Thomas, James Green, Will Lewan. There's a lot of other names in here that I'm not as familiar with, but that'll be a fun one.
One that you need to get familiar with, Rico Robles, another Arizona Christian wrestler, in at 70 kilograms, going to shock the world. Shout out to him. But the real story here, in my opinion, I want to see Yanni wrestle all these guys at a weight up. Like, these are a lot of matchups we haven't seen. I guess Caleb Larkin, I think Caleb Larkin wrestled him at Olympic trials. I want to say that was a high-scoring match, like a 12-10, something like that. I think they have wrestled before, but a lot of these other guys he's going up to. It'll be interesting to see because I think, as we both know, when Yanni's on in freestyle, he is world champ level. I mean, I want to say he's world silver at one point, right?
Yeah, I want to say that was like two, maybe 3. Okay.
Yeah. And I think he's been dealing with injury stuff since then, so like things happen. I'd like to see him get back to peak power because, in my opinion, prime Yanni's our best 65. That feels disrespectful to Jesse. My bad.
Jesse right now is, especially coming off of now 2 national titles, I think he could be the guy.
Yeah. I mean, it's the U.S. Olympic and world team. It's going to be competitive at every weight. I shouldn't just single out favorites like that, but man, it'll be really interesting to see.
Well, Yanni, when Yanni was at 65 at the Olympic team trials, I just think maybe he outgrew that weight a little bit. Have you seen him in person? His frame is his arms are so long. Like, I could totally see him just putting on a little, maybe hitting the weight room a little bit. I don't know, and doing really well at 70. I can see it.
Yeah, no, he's definitely put together. Another weird thing I've noticed about his arms. You ever notice how sharp his elbows are?
Yeah, they almost like jut out.
Yeah. He's got like go-go gadget arms. No, but like you said, I think he probably is a little big for the weight. I mean, he was at 49 by the end of his college career, and 65 kilograms, mistake me if I'm wrong, is 143 and a half, roughly. So that would make sense that he might be sucking down too much weight. But yeah, like we said, him at 70 kilograms should be a fun watch for sure.
Yeah. I think on our next episode we should do kind of a deeper dive into maybe the U.S. Open and the upcoming Worlds and stuff.
Yeah,
like that. Because
definitely.
I haven't done a ton of research. I just don't really know like how they do it anymore. I feel like every year it's like kind of different. Where they're like, oh, okay, like, well, he's the world team member from 2 years ago. He gets like I don't know. So we gotta look into that a little bit.
Yeah, and one thing I want to point out with that, and we'll probably wait till they get in, but no Nittany Lion guys or no Hawkeye Wrestling Club guys have entered. I'm assuming they're waiting until the last, minute. Well, I guess Nolf entered, but other than him, neither. I mean, 2 obviously huge clubs have not entered most of their guys, I assume. So probably wait till closer to the tournament, I guess, to see all the entries.
Yeah, sure, we can do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, anything else you want to touch on?
I think off the top of my head, that's good. Thank you guys for listening. It's been fun doing this, dude. I enjoy talking wrestling with Tucker, and I mean, it's a good time. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're doing it, I guess, just as a little bit of a hobby right now. But I've been having a blast. So if this could turn into like something real, that could definitely. So thank you guys for listening, as always. And yeah, we good?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're back. We actually ended the episode, but then right as we jumped off, it appears that like three or four big thing, well, one big thing and like three or four rumors kind of hit the Minio page on Facebook. So we're just going to touch on that, and then we'll get out of here for the second time.
For sure. You want to go ahead and start with the big official one?
Yeah. So Richard Figueroa has officially signed to Oklahoma State University. I want to give a shout out to whoever created the graphic for his Instagram account. I'm guessing it's someone from Iridium Sports Agency. That thing is awesome. But yeah, I think we touched on it during the pod, but now it's official. Everything else we said basically applies, but obviously huge for Oklahoma State. And I like Figueroa, so hopefully he actually hopefully he can get back on the podium for next year.
Yeah, he's a fun guy to watch. I agree. I don't think we need to touch on that too much. Like you said, basically all that we said already applies. It's just official now. Not a rumor anymore. Like I said, Pat Minio again calls it every time, and he's not wrong. So at this point, I'm gonna start taking what he says as fact. We'll touch on the first one. I'm looking at his page right now, and he says, and I quote, "Also rumbles about both Rocky Elam and Ethan Miller leading to Michigan as well. We will see." So maybe Iowa isn't the spot. Michigan's been known to obviously do pretty well in the portal. They got a great RTC back behind them, making a lot of money off the headgear for every team in the country. That's something that I always think about. So basically, everybody that buys headgear is funding these transfers. They go to Michigan. That's good stuff. That would be great. Anyway, yeah, we'll see. I mean, they need a 57. They need a 97. Our boy Chase is out of there at 57, so Miller would slide right in well. Cardenas is out at 97. Rocky Elam would slide in perfectly as well. So be interesting to see how that plays out. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I gotta be honest. When we were talking about where Miller would fit in, I didn't even think about Michigan, but yeah, they are always in play. I feel, you know, you saw it this year. I mean, they AA'd two guys this year, both guys from the portal, Heinzelman and Cardenas. I think that was their only two, right?
I believe so. And then you had Chase in the blood round.
Sergio was in the blood round.
Yeah, he's a Michigan guy the whole time.
But
but yeah,
I was just
yeah.
And then 2 years ago, they put together like a super team from the portal. You had Shane Griffith, Austin Gomez, Davison. They are always in play when it comes to the transfer portal, and that's something you can't forget about, obviously.
Yeah, it just seems like they haven't made a move this offseason, so maybe that's why we're forgetting about them. But sounds like they're about to make two, possibly. So we'll see.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other one that I wanted to touch on, this is not from Minio. This is inside source. You know me, I'm pretty tapped in. I'm just kidding. But hearing rumors, and I've talked about this, I think on the first podcast I brought this up. Again, rumors of people not wanting Zeke Jones at Arizona State. And the big news is that there's rumors that possibly Jordan Burroughs would be his replacement as head coach at Arizona State, which would be a David Taylor's level move, right? I mean,
I think it'd be bigger. I think it would be bigger.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting fit. I don't know if he has any connections to Arizona, but I will say it's pretty easy to get used to the weather here. I don't think anybody's hating living in Tempe, Arizona, and Scottsdale's right up the road. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Not to put rumors out there that I don't know 100% are true, but everything that I hear, I want to share with you guys. That's kind of the point of the podcast, in my opinion, is to not beat around the bush, like I said earlier. So that's what I'm hearing.
I am super glad that you were able to get that information for the rumor. But geez, that would just be massive, especially with what's been going on. Like people have been commenting on like, oh, every day since NCAA's, there's been something, there's been news. I mean, I don't like if that happened tomorrow, everything that's happened in the last 2 weeks would be forgotten. People would be like, whoa. I mean, that would be massive, huge, groundbreaking news. Jordan Burroughs, obviously, the is what you think of when you think of American wrestling, especially in the 21st century. I mean, this is the guy. You know, I mean, when I was growing up, he was the man. Even when I was like coming through high school and college, he was the man. He's still the man. Um, hasn't obviously hasn't been able to make a world team in the last. Well, he didn't make one last year, but did he compete in the non-Olympic world?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
did.
did.
Because that's when
Um,
he won, and after the whole Olympic trials thing, and was saying they tried to kill me, they can't. I'm too resilient, type of thing.
yeah, yeah. So didn't make the Olympic team. I apologize. He did make the non-Olympic weight world team. Um, but I mean, it goes kind of without saying. I think senior level wrestling, his best days are probably behind him.
Yeah,
And no disrespect. I mean, we said it on the last pod. Time is in this sport. Time is not your friend. So he's getting older. Um, but I think that if he were to jump into a coaching role at a very a program like Arizona State, where, like you mentioned, I mean, this is like the ideal place to live. You know, they have a history of a good program. I think if Jordan stepped in, he could take it to a whole different level. And I think that I think we talked about this a little bit off camera, but I think the NIL money is there, and if Jordan showed up, I think that money would probably triple, maybe quadruple. So I just think if that were to happen, um, you know that's a talking point that people wouldn't shut up about for weeks, months.
I mean, let's be real. I think Jordan Burroughs could win at Bloomsburg if he started coaching there. So I'm sure at ASU he could find success very easily. Um, but yeah, dude, that would be the news of the summer for sure. If or of the off season, I should say, if that is to happen. Yeah, we'll see. It's definitely a story to follow in the next few weeks.
Yeah, it also just kind of makes me wonder. I mean, over the last couple months, maybe the last year or so, I he does seem like a good coaching candidate, and we just never really thought about it because he was still competing. But I guess like with David Taylor, it kind of took him not getting the Olympic spot for him to finally jump into coaching. So I don't know. Maybe Jordan. Sorry about that, guys. Maybe Jordan will give it another try, maybe on the senior level, and then if he can't do it, then maybe he'll take a coaching role. I mean, who knows? So
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he's going to be successful if he keeps wrestling. He's going to be successful if he starts coaching. Either way, so.
um, all right. Well, sorry to break this up
Thanks.
into two parts.
Yeah, hopefully you guys stayed to the end. I feel like that might have been the juiciest piece of news we dropped. Hopefully I can get some more rumors coming in and keep you guys updated.
We're gonna start calling you Skylar Minio.
There you go. There you go. All right.
All
You
right.
think we're good?
Yeah, I think we're good. All right,
All
Legalize
right.
Styling, episode 3, officially done.